Beware.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
My head onto another body.
Hey, there we go. Welcome back, my Game Informer subscribers, to Viewer Beware. It's the only show where we go over each and every episode of the original Goosebumps TV show. And tonight, we are watching Click.
Like the Adam Sandler movie?
No. I can understand the confusion, though, because they have the same title and pretty similar plot devices, and I'm not saying that the Sandman stole this premise from the episode, but I ain't exactly not saying it neither, you know?
So, you are saying it?
Did I? I don't know. Yeah, either way, it's suspicious. Well, anyway, Click is the story of a guy that comes across a magic remote that lets him control time and manipulate people to live how he wants. Wait, that's the movie. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Click is the story of a kid who comes across a magic remote that lets him control time and people to live how he wants. Sure, we've seen it before, but have we seen it with cross-dressing bullies? It'd be really weird if we did. So, let's click. We start with our hero Seth rushing home on his bike to open his mail. Seth is played by Dan Wary-Smith, who you may remember from Attack of the Mutant last season, and his current character is fairly similar to his last one. Talk about typecasting. Anyway, Seth has a mail order shopping addiction, and his little sister lets him know that his parents are mad about it. Seth is a grumpy kid that thinks he knows best, and he just ordered a remote that gives him ultimate control.
Possess ultimate control. Cool.
This will surely end well. Seth tests out his new remote on all the electronics around the living room, which surprisingly works without needing to be paired. We're talking years before Bluetooth was common, people. As Seth settles in to watch TV, an unskippable ad for the remote he just bought comes on.
Congratulations on your purchase of the Verona XG20 Universal Remote Control. For your own safety, please follow all instructions and warnings carefully.
The ad ends and Seth goes back to watching TV, but his annoying little sister brings her tap shoes and yapping dog in to make as much noise as possible. Seth tries to turn the TV up to drown it out, but his sister sees it as a challenge and taps even harder.
Turn it down, Seth!
Seth, let Jamie practice.
Eventually, out of frustration, Seth presses the pause button towards the noisemakers and they freeze in place.
Always be sure to keep the Verona XG20 Universal Remote Control away from children.
Surely a second warning is sufficient, right? Probably not, but fuck it, we ball. Seth still isn't aware he is the one that froze his sister, and tries calling her name, which is Jamie, by the way, if we haven't been introduced yet. Dumbfounded, Seth just points at his sister and hits play, bringing her to life, just like the Evanescence song. Later on in his bedroom, Seth plays with more of the remote functions, messing with the colors of his goldfish in the settings menu. Feeling like he has more of a firm grip on the situation, Seth heads out into the world and mutes his neighbor's lawnmower, then rewinds and fast-forwards the paperboy. In a more strange twist, hitting the eject button just causes whatever you're pointing it at to launch into the air. Seth's playtime is interrupted by a phone call that gives him yet another warning about his purchase.
The XG20 Universal Remote Control can be used in a variety of situations. But remember, like any good thing, it should be used properly. And only in moderation.
You would think this kid would learn by now. The next day at school, Seth is trying to prove to his friend that his remote is magic, and finds the perfect test dummy on the school bully.
What do you think you're gonna do with that?
What am I gonna do? Check this out.
Oh, I'm sorry, you didn't answer that in the form of a question. Mothers who suck their thumbs, and the children who love them. That's up next on today's show.
So hitting the channel change button causes a person to swap around between different TV personas and is useful for humiliating bullies. That night, Seth is woken up by his radio at 2 a.m. with a fourth warning about the remote, to which he actively ignores. This causes his email inbox to go off for a fifth warning. Also, check out that interface. We've come a long way. The next day at school, Seth and his buddy have a pop quiz that they didn't study for, but he doesn't panic. He simply pauses the classroom and grabs the answer key, much to the disagreement of his pal. But Seth is in way too deep, and is going to abuse this power as much as he can. That night, Seth is woken up again, but this time by a mailman who delivers a sixth and seemingly final warning. This kid is just not having it. The next day, Seth and Jamie are in the living room when Jamie tries to change the channel with his remote. She drops it, but it seems undamaged.
Are you crazy?
Mom, Seth's hogging again.
Seth's parents come into the room to scold him, so he pauses them and gives them a timeout.
Look, guys, I'm sorry, but sometimes you just drive me nuts. Now, I hope during this brief timeout, you'll chill a little bit.
But uh-oh, turns out the remote did break. Seth calls his friend over to get some advice on the matter, so they end up calling the manufacturer. But they just screen his call. Looks like the shoe's on the other foot now. But the company calls back fairly quickly and gives him an address to visit. When the two go to the given destination, it looks like nobody has been there in years, so it was yet another dead end. After hours of pondering what to do, Seth decides to crack open the remote for himself to fix it. But as he removes the casing, he gets another call.
Tony?
Never attempt to service the Verona XG20 Universal Remote Control. Opening the back of the device is dangerous. Please consult an authorized dealer.
Seems this company is good with warnings, but not so good at actually helping. Seth decides to ignore yet another warning and go back to his makeshift repair. The moment of truth comes around, and finally Seth's family wakes from their frozen slumber. Seth's buddy wants to ditch the remote and take the win, but Seth is sure he fixed it, and can't bring himself to let go of that power. Just like that one dickhead that couldn't throw out the One Ring in the Fires of Mordor.
What am I, crazy?
The next day at school, Seth's friend sees that he still has the remote despite throwing it out.
Well, I tried to get rid of it, but it kept on magically appearing in my room.
You're lying, Seth.
Who would ever believe a show or a movie could possibly have a magic remote that keeps showing up when you get rid of it? Anyway, Seth is drunk with power and uses the eject button to launch his friend into a locker before walking off like a G. However, the school payphone goes off to give him yet another warning, which he again ignores.
You've misused your gift even after repeated warnings. This is your last chance. Remember, the consequences are severe.
Quit bugging me!
As he's busy on the phone, his friend once again tries to snag the remote, but when Seth launches him again, he finds the powers aren't working until he hits the power button.
Hello? 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 Oh no. Battery low?
We hope you enjoy your new Verona XG20 Universal Remote Control. If treated with proper care, it will bring you a lifetime of enjoyment.
No, Tony, wait! All I need are some batteries!
So Seth is locked away in the power off zone forever. Well, at least until he gets new batteries, but I feel like that's going to be a very, very long time. And honestly, the company gave him ample warning about what would eventually happen if he manipulated the powers that he did, so it's kind of on him.
Maybe the company shouldn't mail out time powers to anyone with $20.
That's also fair. You have to question the business policy here. But anyway, Click was adapted from a short story in Tales to Give You Goosebumps, and it actually adds in all of the warnings that the company gives Seth. That wasn't included in the short story. It also adds in the scene where he freezes his parents for a whole day before he can finally unfreeze them, so he knows, what abusing it can lead to. And to take it a step further, it also adds in his friend that tells him not to use it to hurt people, not to use it to cheat on tests, and, ultimately is the reason that he powered off in the first place. So episode Seth was warned way more than story Seth, and he still fucked it up.
Hard to feel sorry for him.
Exactly, and that's a big benefit for the episode, because the story, it feels like a kid just playing around with powers that he didn't really grasp the nature of. In the episode, it's just a kid that intentionally ignores the warnings and becomes a villain. And, he just goes mad with power before he's just locked away. I actually didn't remember liking this episode a lot when I was a kid, but then, rewatching it a few times for this Viewer Beware, it really started to grow on me. And I can respect it because it's just a straightforward story, time control, good plot, I like it. And then it also adds in, the eject and all that fun stuff, so it's good. It's not scary, but it's fun, so I'm going to give it a respectable 2.5 out of 5. Check it out. And if you have to order a remote from the mail, make sure you test it on, something small, like a cat, or maybe like some kind of gerbil. I'll see you guys next time.
Can you say Holman is a bully?
Holman is a bully?